What we're going to talk about today is we're going to focus on conversation mechanics and touch. And tomorrow, we're going to focus on approaching and being more spontaneous and sort of like group dynamics, simulating different situations, and that's going to be in the conference room at the office. The reason why I want to do conversation today is so that it's the kind of thing that we kind of have to work through. It's slow. We're going to be sitting and talking a lot. And I want you guys to have this stuff down so that tomorrow it just kind of comes out. All right? So, doing conversation. And then we're going to do touch. And I have a pattern, a couple patterns, vocality patterns that we're just going to go over and over and over. To train you to, your hands it just happens. Did you guys notice yesterday when we were doing like the drills where I walked up and said, I appreciate you? And remember me, I was just touching you? Mm-hmm. I wasn't thinking about it. You don't want to be thinking about your hands, ever. I mean, there's times where I'll just be touching a girl in a very sensual way without any kind of context. It's appreciation, basically, but I'll be like touching her, like running my fingertips here and stuff like that. And I am conscious, like I am consciously aware of what I'm doing with my hands. But in typical conversation, these are just happening. And that's what I want you guys to be able to do. Okay, so this is basically the sequence that a conversation goes in. It tends to happen, it doesn't always happen exactly like this, but this is very typical how my conversations go. This is how any good conversation goes when you meet a new girl. This is a pattern of touching that is actually very common, this sequence. And you're using each one. You're using each vocality. Okay. Eye contact before you talk, before you say anything. That makes a huge difference. Even if it's just a beat. You don't want to be a disembodied voice. Okay? So, whether it's on the street, approaching a woman, lock eyes, then you say whatever you're going to say. If you're at a bar, if you're at a bar and she's not facing you, lock eyes before you say something. If you have to touch her to get her to turn, again, lock eyes first. You want her to see appreciation in your eyes. That's the first vocality you're going to use with a woman. The other reason why is this indicates, it looks like confidence. Now, you know how I feel about confidence, but it looks confident. So think about if you come over here,
yeah,
and you're facing that way.
Okay.
I say, hey, what's your name? It's like, huh? It's weird. But if I say, hey,
hi,
what's your name?
Jason.
So you see how much better that looks? It's subtle. But that subtle shift, that subtle adjustment makes a huge difference.
Okay.
Not only am I not a disembodied voice now, but notice so you're looking away.
Okay.
Hey. Those couple of beats, you can see that my intention is very positive. It's warm. You feel the light, right?
Yeah.
But also, what kind of motherfucker just taps somebody and then looks at him and says, hey,
Yeah.
It looks very confident. Now, am I thinking confidence? Am I thinking, I got this? No. What I'm thinking is, you're beautiful. I'm excited about you. So it looks confident, but that's not really what's happening. Okay?
All right.
So that's why we like to do eye contact first. It makes a huge, huge difference. You go ahead.
Okay.
So, static dynamic. What this is about is the environment and how to approach. Okay? So in a static environment, I'll tell you what a static environment would be. That would be, the ultimate static environment is like if you work with her or go to class with her. You see her a lot, and there's not a lot of movement. You have plenty of time. A dynamic would be on the street. That would be like an extreme dynamic, where you only have like a couple seconds. And if she passes by you, the clock's ticking, she gets halfway down the block, it's over. So static means there's not a lot of movement. Dynamic means there's a lot of movement. What changes is the time, the amount of time you have with her. Okay? The more time you have with her, the less intense your initial opener or approach is going to be. The less time you have, the more intense it's going to be. So, the X actually, you got static, dynamic, then you can have static in dynamic. So that would be like public transportation, being on a bus. Okay? Dynamic in static would be at a bar. Because there's movement, but we're all probably going to be here for a while. See? So it all comes down to time and movement, and that affects how intense you are on the approach. I've practiced going super direct, like when a girl's chilling at a coffee shop, and it's not good. So let's say you go to class with a girl, and just one day you're like, excuse me, I saw you sitting over here, I think you're so beautiful. It's like, what? All right, I'm gonna see you Tuesday also. It's weird, right? So, static approach, it's not even necessarily an approach, just kind of striking up a conversation. So static approach, if we're at a cafe or something and I see a cute girl, maybe I get my drink and I'm walking back and I see her and I say, hey, okay, eye contact first. And I go sit down, maybe I sit near her, and a common thing I'll use at a cafe is work or school. If she's got a lot of papers, I'll say, are you doing homework? Or I'll say, are you working today? I won't say, what are you working on though? Or what are you doing? It's a little nosy, but just asking the other one is less nosy, right? Class, if you're in a class or work or something, obvious one is, hey, what's up? How was your weekend? All right? I like that shirt. You look cute today. Okay, so it's less intense. Dynamic, on the other hand, a street approach, which we'll practice. Typically, I like to do a street approach session on Sundays. But you just let me know what your situation is, and I'll try to figure it out. But if you stand up, and we've practiced street approach. But if you're a woman, you're walking past, right? I see you. Okay, walk a little bit, stop. So I see you. Okay, make sure the ass is good, right? And then I'll come up. I'll jog a little bit because I probably have to catch up to her. But before I get to her, I'm going to stop jogging because I don't want her to hear me running. And also, I don't want to be like out of breath, and I don't want to come in like too intense. So I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to walk, and I'm going to say, excuse me. I know it's kind of random. I didn't mean to startle you, but or I didn't mean to interrupt you. If she looks startled, I do say I didn't mean to startle you. But I'll typically say I didn't mean to interrupt you. I know it's random. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I saw you walking past, and I just took my breath away. I think you're so beautiful. Wait for the response. She's gonna be like, "Oh, thank you." And then if she seems tense, I'll say that I'm nervous, which I will be. Yeah. But I'll say, I don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm totally nervous. But what's your name? If she doesn't seem tense, she's just like, "Oh, thank you." I say, "You're very welcome. What's your name?" Okay. And then we just go and do this. Okay. Static and dynamic is going to be public transportation. So you're going to open like this. I don't know if you guys ever use public transportation or any situation where you're sitting or there, but you're not sure how much time there is. There's going to be movement. She might be getting off the bus or something like that. So, like for example, if I'm on the subway, I'll say something like, I might say something direct and be like, I like your outfit. You look really pretty. Okay? Or if there's something I can talk about, if she's maybe, she's listening to music, I might say, if I can hear it a little bit or something, I might say, I might ask her, are you listening to blah, blah, blah? See, the thing is, a lot of times people are on their headphones now in those sorts of situations. So coming up with something that maybe has something to do with what she's listening to or doing, you could say something ridiculous like, are you playing Angry Birds? Don't you play that on your phone?
Yeah.
You could do that. You could just say, how's your day going? Hey, how's your day going? All right, that's a good one. But the thing is, I don't know how much time we have together. So I'm gonna be a little more intense. At some point pretty early, I want to convey like, I might even say something like, I gotta say, like, you're really pretty. Oh, thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. I don't mean to hit on you like while we're on the subway, but I'm just being honest. I look at her, see what she does. She's like, no, that's cool. I'll say, my name's Brian, or she might introduce herself at that point. And then we'll talk, and I say, I want to find out where's your stop or when you're getting off. She says, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll say, okay, well, let me hit you up sometime. And she'll give me her number. Dynamic and static, so this is a bar. So I typically go direct in a bar. I'll say, one template I have for that is I'll tell her I'll give her a compliment on something she's wearing or her style, but I won't say I like that dress. I'll say you look great in that dress, or I love how that dress looks on you. See the difference? First one's about the dress, second one's about her. That's a really solid template. It's another template. I'll direct, but not super intense. Not like, excuse me, I think you're beautiful. Now, I have done that. I mean, there's been many times where I've gone up to women, one in particular, I went up and said, I just walked up and was like, I just tapped her, looked at her, and I said, you are fucking beautiful. Okay. If you're feeling that, just go for it. But a lot of times my approach is going to be a little less intense. It's going to be something more like, oh, you are so pretty. Or another one I'll do, if you stand up.
Yeah.
So I remember one time, this was at Stingery, the girl's standing kind of like that way, and I'm walking past, I had my drink, and I was walking by, and
Hi.
Hey, who are you? That's the McConaughey. That's the Matthew McConaughey. I think it was How to Lose a Guy in 25 Days or some shit.
And 10 days, yeah.
10 days, yeah. What he did, I'll show you. So you're the woman, you're walking past, he's in a bar, and his buddies make a bet that he can't get her number or something. So back up a little bit. So now you're gonna try to walk past me, okay? So I walk up. Hey, you try to keep walking past me.
Jesus, really?
Yeah. And it's a movie, so who knows?
There's so much appreciation in it.
Exactly.
Like really.
And that's what makes it work. Okay. So there's always appreciation in your eyes. That's how to consistently get good results. There's a kind of a thing about that in terms of like approaching women that really turn you on. But the appreciation is going to be less or more intense. That's really what this comes down to. So coffee shop, I'll maybe gesture with my hand to kind of break her attention if she's looking at her screen. Hey, are you working on school or work? It's tough you guys can see. Hey, school or work? So you can see it, the appreciation, but it's less intense. But then there's, you are fucking beautiful. It's more intense. Maybe my eyes get bigger. I don't know. I don't think about that stuff. But those are the differences that happen, but with the different intensity.
Do you feel the difference in intensity inside yourself? Like intentionally, do you control like the feeling of appreciation within yourself? Kind of like scale it depending on the situation.
That's a really good question. Trying to think. I would say the more dynamic it is, the more I'm gonna kind of amp it up. But the more static it is, I'm probably not gonna think about lessening it. But what I say is not gonna be intense. But on the street, I'm gonna probably maybe even exaggerate it a little. But I want to get myself in a state of just being really turned on. I mean, and you can control that. Like you can see a woman and think, oh, you know, the wolf look, and I do that all the time. I'm constantly. It's not a good habit, but I'm always like, you know, I'll do. You guys probably see me do this. Like I'll be talking to you guys. I'll do that, right? And so I'm putting myself in a kind of a serious, tight state, and that's not good. I'd actually like to undo that. But so what I'll do before a really intense, what I'll do before a street approach is I'll look at her, and I'll really kind of like fall in love with her and just be like, just really try to appreciate how beautiful she is. Oh. A lot of times I'll say, whoa. I kind of get that verbalization gets me there. Oh. I'll come up and I'll really kind of be excited. I'll be like, excuse me, you know, get excited. So I'll maybe, in a dynamic situation, I will amp it up. Static situation, probably won't try to do anything with my state, but what I say is going to be a little more chill. Okay, next thing, simple social questions. So simple is more something you might do in more of a static situation. How's your day going? What are you up to? How's your weekend? What are you up to today? Where are you from? What's your name is like the most basic one. How are you? Oh, this is a little adjustment you can make. If you say, instead of saying how are you, which we say to everybody, like at the cashier, you know, how are you? Good, how are you? I almost want to like come up with like something to, some way to break that and just like freak people out. But if you say, how are you? That changes it. A woman did this to me while I was getting on the plane. She was in sales and stuff, and she was just a chatty Cathy. She just wanted someone to talk with. And I don't like to talk on the plane because you're with them, and now it's okay. Now we're like friends. Now we have to talk. I just want to put my headphones on. But she got me. She totally engaged me, and when I talked to her the whole time, and the way she did it is I sat down. She said, "Hi, how are you?" Okay, it sounds like she really meant she really wanted to know. That's a little thing with how are you, but simple question, okay? This is statement. Oh. Okay, statement. So what you're gonna need to do is be ready to answer your own question. All right? Or maybe even not answer your own question necessarily, but just make a statement. So you're going to say something like, you say, you know, what's your name? She says, you know, Gina. Say, hey, Gina, I'm Brian. So I've answered my own question, right? Then I say, where are you from? She tells me, I tell her where I'm from. Reason why is because women aren't ready for this. They're almost never ready. You're always interrupting. Okay? So what this is doing is very similar to, you know, the old-fashioned cars. You have to rev the motor. That's what we're doing here. Simple question, answer my own question. Another simple question, answer my own question. So I'm revving the motor to the point where I'm getting real answers. Now, the way to get a better answer from her is by talking in the way you want her to talk. So if she says, if I say, how are you? You know, where are you from? And she says, I'm from San Diego. I say, oh, cool. I actually just moved out here. I was bouncing around different places, but I lived in Brooklyn for a long time. And I'm liking it. It's very different. People are very different out here, but I'm loving the weather. A lot of stuff to do, right? So I'm giving her something, okay? She's like, yeah, totally. That's the answer she gives me. So then I say something else. I say, so what do you do? Are you in school? You work? Another simple question. She says, yeah, I go to school. Now, there's also another thing called the vacuum, which I got from Wayne Elise. But basically, when you want more of an answer, you just keep looking at the person. So if I ask you a question, just give me one answer and I'll show you what the vacuum looks like. Okay, so what do you do? Work, school?
School. Yeah, I go to school.
Okay. I could say for what. But the thing with the vacuum is, when I say, if I were to say for what, it's like, now I'm working. I want you to work. So the vacuum is like, again, it shows confidence. It looks confident, but is it? No, I'm just trying to listen. Okay, so what kind of motherfucker just looks at you like, talk more, bitch? You know what I mean? So that's what, so then she says, I go to work, I go to school, she says, I give her the vacuum, or she says, I say, for what? I actually put a little E in here. But, I say, for what? She says, nursing. I say, oh, cool, I got my bachelor's in psychology. That was a long time ago. It was a huge waste of time, because everything I know about psychology comes from like my own personal study. See, I'm giving more, right? I'm demonstrating what I want her to do. And then she'll say, at that point she'll probably relate, unless she's just like, oh, that's cool. And then at that point I'm starting to question whether I want to keep talking to her, because she seems boring. She's boring me. I don't want to be bored. I don't care how pretty she is. However, if she is still standing there, if it's like a street approach and she's still standing there looking at you, instead of like trying to edge away, it's kind of an interpretation thing. I might say, you don't talk much, huh? Why are you going to nursing? So I might say something like that. Appreciate your potential. All right. Then she says, oh, I'm going to nursing. So psychology, blah, blah, blah. What interests you about nursing? It's a me question. All right. So we're revving the motor. This is where we want to be. Me questions and me statements. So I'm gonna get you guys to understand what this means, how to do a me question and me statement. I mean, I did it from the jump, like when I was asking you those questions. I was getting in your brain pretty well. So we're gonna do this a little bit on the street. 2 minutes is plenty. I mean, you can go longer, but 2 minutes is plenty for a solid number. Or to move her to another place, or Insta-date or whatever. And at that point, you qualify her and offer your time. So when we talk about getting a number, right? We think like getting a number is some sort of achievement. What you're actually doing when you get a number is you're actually offering your time. You're saying, I will take time out of my life to contact you and try to get to know you better. Okay? So if you ask her out, you say, you want to get a drink sometime, you want to get a coffee sometime, something like that. She's not doing anything for you. I can get a coffee by myself. What I'm actually doing is offering my time. Now you can only offer your time. This is your time, and it can only be offered. Understand? You can't get someone else's time, because it's your time. As you're getting their time, it's your time. Okay? Remember that shit. She's not doing you any favors by agreeing to hang out with you. She's not doing you any favors by giving you her number. That doesn't help your life at all. That adds nothing to your life. You are offering your time. And I had one situation where I was talking to a woman for a while. It seemed to be going well. And then I was like, I was like, well, I said, I was like, I'm gonna get out of here. Do you wanna like, I'd like to see you again, let's hang out sometime. She said, okay, I guess you can have my number. And as I said that, I started pulling my phone. It's like this. She said, okay, I guess you can have my number. So I'm like, yeah, I want to see you again. You seem cool. Let's hang out sometime. She says, I guess you can have my number. And I go like this. And just walked away. Okay? That's integrity, right? That's ILO. That's me. That did more for me as a man than actually getting the number and trying to hang out with her. Okay? Because here's the thing, by doing that, the next time I talk to a woman, I've exercised not napping, I've exercised ILOC, right? So the next time I talk to a woman, I'm gonna be more like that. And if I do decide to, offer my time, I'm gonna do it with even more congruence. Okay? I'm gonna say it in a way that's like, don't for a second pretend that you're better than me. So I'm gonna say, I like you. You're fun and obviously very pretty. So I think we should hang out. I'll give you a call. Okay. So there's this attitude of I'm offering something to you, and that will make a huge difference. I remember I talked to this beautiful stripper one time. I was at a strip club. She was up there on the high platform dancing, and the other girl was dancing, and I just could not take my eyes off her. I was just sitting there staring, right? And she saw me, right? Immediately comes right to me because she thinks money, right? She walked up to me, and the first thing I said was, you're like my 10. Like, I think you're breathtaking, but you're working, and I'm not going to give you any money, so you don't have to like waste your time like talking to me. And she thought she was like, oh, she kind of liked that. And I was like, what's your name? Because she kind of she lingered. And I was like, what's your name? We ended up talking for like half an hour. And it was great. And at the very end, I fucking fell apart. My buddy was like, we got to go, man. And I was like, so, I don't know, like, I know you're working, but do you want to like, I think I even said like, I don't know what to do now. Like, what to do now? Should I like, do you want to like exchange numbers or something? So fucking bad. Blew it. I blew it. Completely blew it. Because I wasn't offering my time. I could have very easily said, you seem cool, even though you're covered in glitter, which, if we hang out, you can't wear glitter because I don't want all the other strippers to see that I got some other girls with glitter on me. And I could have said something like that. But what I'm doing there is offering my time. That's my attitude. And I could have said, say, well, I'll give you a call tomorrow or something. A lot of times when I do this, I nod my head. It wasn't conscious before, but I've noticed that I do it, and I'll be like, yeah, I'll give you a call tomorrow. Okay, very persuasive, right? Okay, mental experience, we're gonna drill that, offer time, okay, I got to drill that. Okay, so let's drill mental experience. We're gonna do simple question, statement first, and then we're gonna do mental experience. You can sit for this.